We're now going to learn how to create a professional chart in PowerPoint. Please be aware you do need to use the desktop version for this to work. The online version doesn't have chart built into it. So in the previous video we created a table, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the data from this table for the chart that I'm going to create. So if I go over and actually hover over the actual table itself, click on it and go Ctrl+C to copy, I can then have it ready for when I create my chart. So I've got a brand new slide here, and this was done through New Slide and Title and Content. And again, you've got a couple of ways of putting a chart into here. We've got within the actual box here a little Insert Chart option, or you can go to Insert and Chart. So I'm just going to click on the Chart option here, and I'm going to pick the kind of chart I want to produce. So I'd like to create a pie chart with that data, because it's one set of data with lots of different subheadings underneath it. And I'd like to create, rather than just the flat chart like this, I'd actually like to produce a 3D pie chart. So what I'm going to do is select that option here and click on OK. Now when this produces the screen, what it does is it puts a basic chart in there and has this little tiny, like an Excel spreadsheet, for you to fill the data in. Now because I've already copied this previously, I'm going to click in the very first cell and go Ctrl+V to paste my data in. So I know the data's in there and I can close that down. You could always just type the data in yourself. And this now gives me a basic chart. It's got a legend to it, so for each colour you can see underneath what the legend actually means. But I'd like this to actually have the names next to each of the slices in my pie. So what we can do is we can hover over the styles that are already here, and this will change the look of this, so we can get some ideas. And this one's quite a nice look here, so I'm going to go and pick this style here, which is style 8. And it's going to take all of the actual slices that I've got, and it's going to actually make the pie chart have a little bit of a beveled edge to it, make it stand out. And now all of the actual legends are now coloured the same as the actual pie slice, and they're now arranged around the shape itself. Now what I'd like to do is the biggest slice I've got here, as I'm hovering over it, you can see it says that's 24%. What the first thing I'd like to do is actually make sure that all of these slices have got the values next to them. Now we've got a lot of control and it will take some fiddling to get this right, but I've now clicked actually on the legend titles, and if I go right click and say Format Data Labels, it will bring up another little box over here, and it will allow me to add in the percentage next to it, which shows exactly the right values for me. So that's one great way of doing this, and you'll notice that the label slices are on the outside. Now there's one bit of a problem here. You'll see that where we've got this multiplayer online battle arena, it's overlaying the growth title. Now it would be nice if I could turn this pie around. So now I'm going to click actually on the pie itself, and you'll see that it has this thing called a series option, and it allows me to angle the first slice. As I move this over, what this does is it allows me to rotate round so that I can move this exactly where I'd like it to be. So I rotated this right the way around here so that the simulation, which is the biggest slice, is now over on this bottom right hand corner. The other thing that would be quite nice is to make that particular slice actually come away. And what we can do is, if I just click off the chart for the moment, if I click back on it, it selects the entire chart, and I want to now just select this particular pie. So click, so you've just got the 3 points there showing that this slice is selected. And this is now called a point explosion. So this allows me to actually make that slice come out of the original pie chart itself. So this gives me a lot of flexibility. Now one thing you can do is you can also go over to these quick layouts, and this also allows you to get some preset ideas of what it would like to be, which is another way of doing it. And the other thing we can do is we can actually also go over and change it now to one of these other styles, and it keeps those extra bits of information that I've put there. So this is ways of you formatting it. So this is the first one. What I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to copy this whole chart itself. So I'm going to go over to, on the left hand side, copy and paste it, so I've got a duplicate of this. And what I want to do now is I want to change this chart into look like a different kind of chart. We're going to go into a bar chart. So again, on the chart itself, what we can now do is right click and go to Format Chart Area, and we're going to go up to Design, and what we're going to do is actually change the type of layout that we actually want. So up on the right hand side you'll see this Change Chart Type. So if we click on this, we can now go in and create a column chart, and I'm going to create a stacked 3D column chart and go OK. And this is where these quick layouts come in handy. This allows us to have a little bit of a format and play around with it a little bit. I'm trying to get one that's going to be a little bit flatter. Okay, so we might need to have a little look up in the other style area. There we go, this is better. So what I don't want is, I didn't want it in a slight angle, I'd like it square on, and I like the look of that one at the moment. So we're going to click on that. Now previously when we were working with the pie chart, we actually had the series titles of each individual point on there. This time I don't want those, so I can click on all of them, just one click, and hit delete, and that will remove them from the actual points here. What we've also now got is we've got the chance now to actually go over and format using text and the text options and the chart options. So here for instance you can have a little look at adding things like a horizontal axis, an axis that's there. When you go over, you have all these different ways of doing the alignment, and we've got an axis option, and we'd actually like to say yes, we'd like to put a text axis in, and that will put in the lines across there. We've also got, let's have a little look on here, the vertical axis, so we can change the formatting of that one. I'm actually now going to look at the points here, and we're going to look at the colours, and I'd like to vary those colours by point. So this is another thing that you need to do. One thing with charts, there's always masses of different options available. Do go and investigate what you can do with them. Investigate what's available on each of the different options. Here, as you can see, we could actually go for a pyramid. We could go for a partial pyramid. We can have them as cylinders. We can make them a full cone, a partial cone. So this gives us a lot more flexibility, and we're back to the box itself. The most important thing is when you're working with any form of chart, it's always worth you going through and experimenting and having a little look at what is possible and available.